Robert,
there were 3 other cases
Petito.
of consequence. There's McDonald's Falun Gong. I'm not sure I'm pronunciating that correctly. And landlords being able to be sued for not renting to criminals.
Well, let's hold on. There was one more there was the Petito lawsuit of
And Petito, yes.
Gabriela Petito suing the parents for mental infliction of anguish.
Her parents suing their parents.
Her parents. Sorry, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. The parents of the murdered Gabriela Petito suing the parents of the now deceased suicided perpetrator of this for anguish. Robert, what are the chances? I mean, I read the lawsuit. It's very thin. It's 7 pages. They say basically the parents knew what their son had done when the son was, messaging off Petito's cell phone to make it look like she was still alive. They went on vacation when they, I read it. I don't see it standing a snowball's chance in hell of succeeding, but I don't know what the applicable laws are in Florida.
Well, it was an unusual complaint in that they didn't list the causes of action, but it's apparent that the cause of action is intentional infliction of emotional distress. I don't know if they also have negligent infliction of emotional distress there. And it depends on how elastic they interpret those cases or those doctrines or those torts, because they do it. What is the best arguments they have are various statements because they mostly focus on omissions, and I'm not sure omissions can be intentional infliction of emotional distress under these circumstances. But they have also a few acts of commission, and those might be more closer to it. The question is, when parents are protecting their fugitive son and do things and say things that don't out him, and instead, I think the biggest problem they have, part of it's going to be able to prove certain things, what the parents knew, of course. But if it's the case that the parents knew she was dead, knew their son had killed her, and then issued a statement saying they were going to help locate her to return her safely to her family, that might be intentional infliction of emotional distress. I don't know.
It's interesting. Let me just bring up Hydra PX. I don't know Alec Baldwin. I just know what I know of him, and from what I know of Alec Baldwin, he's a shameless narcissist who has absolutely total disregard for what he's done, in attempting to blame him shooting a woman on the woman he shot because she told him to point the gun there after he said, I would never point a gun at someone and pull the trigger. So if that was an attempt at a troll or whatever, good luck, Godspeed. Jussie and Baldwin sharing a cell would be hilarious. Okay. Sorry. So that's like intentional. They didn't mention it, Robert. I'm just reading the last paragraph.
The words they're using are intentional infliction of emotion.
Yeah, that's clearly what they're going after.
Sometimes called outrageous conduct as a tort in America.
Yeah, which they use those words in the suit, but basically, even the allegations were not, reading it for me, above and beyond what the Sun did. It was not shocking enough for me. Yeah, the parents mandated a lawyer. The parents were not sharing information. The parents were protecting their murderous son. I
think the most problematic aspect was the allegation that they knew she was dead and had the lawyer issue a public statement that said that they were hoping for her safe return soon. That is a little bit problematic, but but how far it goes, they've gone back and forth on the scope of that tort, and usually it's very politically motivated which way they go, frankly, in some decisions. So we'll see if it goes.
Florida. It's Florida as well. So do they not have specifically harsh or very stringent laws on holding parents responsible for?
It varies everywhere. The tort is pretty general. It's a common law tort for the most part, not based on statutes. So the common law principles would be applied regardless of which jurisdiction you're in, unless you have very specific precedent on that specific issue, which they probably don't have. They'll have precedent, but not applicable to this set of facts. And generally courts don't like the tort of outrage because they think it can be too elastic and lead to too many suits. But lately they've been expanded, like in the Alex Jones cases, they dramatically expanded it so that, people who they don't even allege heard anything Alex Jones ever said are able to sue for intentional infliction of emotional distress. So that tells you the politics can shape this, and this is a high profile case.
Yeah.
So depending on which judge they get, they may get past a motion to dismiss.
I'm not so quick to say his parents are just as guilty. Anybody who's had experience with children with mental disorders, a parent's desire to protect will always be there, even if their kids are awful.
No doubt about that.